the best time of the year in the National Football League. The playoffs wild card weekend last weekend, and
we got the divisional. It's the divisional round, Tony.
And now it's the divisional round, and now we are 8.
This is the best weekend of football of the entire year. And every season, I usually get together with my family. I'm not going to be able to make it this week because I'm on Good Morning Football on Saturday. Just to plug that show.
Why not?
But this is when my family and we get together, because these 4 games this weekend is the best festival of football. It's like the when March Madness kicks off, and those that Thursday, Fridays, always super magical. We're anticipating 4 great games.
Yeah.
One game that people think is the actual AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
We've got the 49ers. We got the Packers. There's so many great games going on, so many great storylines, that there is no doubt in my mind this is the best weekend of football of the entire year.
So let's talk about him. I'm Marinero. He's Adam Rank. And of course, this is the Sick Podcast, brought to you by Cherry River Hard Seltzer. Only 90 calories, natural flavors, no preservatives, now available in Quebec grocery stores and at the beer stores. So I saw on the NFL Network that you're the only one who took the 49ers.
Crazy.
So you have the 49ers going into Green Bay and beating the Packers. How do you think they're going to pull that one off?
Well, I think the biggest key for the 49ers is getting pressure on the quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, when pressured, his passer rating drops from 122 down to 53. His completion percentage goes from 75%. He never misses when he's not pressured, but when he is pressured, that percentage goes down into the 30s. So the 49ers, even though they've rushed just 4 guys all season, they get pressure on the quarterback. And if they're able to do that, and they did it earlier this season in a game they could have easily had won had they not made a few better choices with time management. I know that Cash loves to talk about that at great length.
Yeah.
But I think that the pressure on the quarterback, I also believe the Packers don't have an answer for Deebo Samuel. Deebo kind of was born out of that week 5 game and has become unstoppable. And the Packers have allowed the 3rd most yards per carry this season. They're terrible in the red zone, where the 49ers are really good. And to me, I think people are asking the wrong questions. I think the question should be, how do the Packers beat the 49ers? Because Aaron Rodgers has not been able to do it in the playoffs. So
so I'm going to answer that. Okay. I'm going to answer that. I think the Packers are going to win. I wouldn't be shocked if the 49ers win, but I think the Packers are going to win. So let me ask you this. Who's the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers?
It's Jimmy Garoppolo.
How many touchdowns did he throw last week?
Doesn't matter. I don't think he had one. I don't think he threw enough to win. That's the thing. Like he won the NFC.
If he's good for 0 touchdowns and 180 yards, how the hell are they going to beat the Packers?
Running the football, Deebo Samuel, Raheem Mostert in the 2019 NFC Championship game absolutely tore up this Packers team, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're very creative in getting the ball into the hands of their playmakers. They have Deebo, they have George Kittle, who might be the best non-quarterback in the NFL. You have Brandon Ayuk. You also have Kyle Juszczyk, who is just this weirdly like he gets these spot plays here and there. I think he's going to end up having something to say about this one as well. I think this 49ers team is constructed just as that, as a team. The Packers go out there and they need Aaron Rodgers to go win it for them. And that's their formula. And they've been doing this for 30 years with Brett Favre and now with Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
And it's just not enough.
Well, it is a quarterback league, so I can understand it. All right, last week the Bills absolutely obliterated the Patriots. Is it safe to say that the passing of the torch in that division?
100%.
Yeah.
And I think the passing of the torch happened on that Monday night game when the Bills were kind of outclassed in a way. Bill Belichick went out there and put out the perfect game plan in the perfect conditions to do so. And it's very hard to replicate that once again. And I think that really lit a fire under Sean McDermott. Now, the Bills came into this season fired up, ready to go after losing to the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. And then they kind of stumbled a little bit. They had some inexcusable losses, like the one to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But it was that Monday night against the Patriots that set them out on a new course. And the trajectory that they are on, I think they're going to be very difficult to stop. I said this on your show last week.
Yeah.
That my pick for the Super Bowl was the Bills and the 49ers. I'm still holding to that. And I think both teams are going to win this weekend and move on.
All right. So even though the Bears are nowhere near it, I see them in the background. And I know you have Chicago in your blood. So I saw a tweet that if you don't want Justin Fields, then you can't coach the Bears. So let me ask you this. If Brian Flores comes and wants Deshaun Watson, are you saying no to that?
I would say enjoy your time in New York. Enjoy your time in Jacksonville. I guess Jacksonville will be a bad example.
Yeah.
But like, if you don't want to coach the quarterback that's here, that's fine. I will not hold that against you. Brian Flores has every right to say, like, I don't really think much of Justin Fields. I'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's not like if Bill Belichick walked up to Chicago and said, I want to coach your team. I don't want Justin Fields. Justin Fields would be on the next bus out of Chicago. Brian Flores, who is a coach that I like and I respect and feel that he should be a NFL head coach in this league. But if he does not want to coach the future of the Bears, that's fine. There's plenty of other jobs. There's plenty of other opportunities. Go investigate those. Go coach Daniel Jones or go try to get Deshaun Watson to New York. I don't care. It's just not going to work in Chicago.
All right. So speaking of losing teams, the Cardinals looked absolutely lost last week. Who's that on, in your opinion?
I think it's on the coach, Cliff Kingsbury. And this is a pattern that has been repeatable going back to his time at Texas Tech. You know, his teams would start off hot. They'd have some big wins in nationally televised games, and then they would disappear at the end of the year. And then a lot of times you just kind of excuse that. And you said, it's Texas Tech. Who are you getting to Lubbock anyways? And then the same thing has now happened with the Cardinals. Last year, should have made the playoffs. Needed to win just one game to keep the Bears out of the playoffs. Probably would have saved us a lot of heartache. This year, they backed into the playoffs once again, even though they got off to a great start. They won some games with Colt McCoy. Ultimately, Cliff Kingsbury is not making the adjustments to get this team over the hump. And now you go back to that earlier question about who do they have in Lubbock? Well, they did have Patrick Mahomes in Lubbock. And now it's starting to make a little bit more sense. Why didn't they win more with Patrick Mahomes? You're like, maybe it was the coach. Maybe it was the coach. And I know that the Cardinals will not make a move to get rid of him. But I think that next season, when this team has 6 wins and he's ultimately fired, you're going to look back and be like, we should have just cut the cord last year and moved on and not wasted a season of Kyler Murray's career.
So it's the Titans versus the Bengals, the Bills versus the Chiefs, the Bucks versus the Rams, and the Packers versus the 49ers.
Yep.
So before I ask you who you got, I want to ask you this. Out of all the quarterbacks playing this weekend, who do you trust the most other than Tom Brady?
Oh, easy. Josh Allen for me. That would be the quarter. Although if I'm talking about this weekend,
you trust Josh Allen more than you trust Rodgers or Mahomes?
Absolutely. Josh Allen is such a difference maker, and his ability to create plays with his feet is almost unmatched. It is like watching John Elway in his prime, what I imagine. He is such a good quarterback. He does so many things so well. He's carried this team. He has been their leading running back. He's their leading passer. He's got everybody in Buffalo believing. And this is what I'm saying right now on this date in 2022. You ask me this question a year from now, my answer might be very different, because I think that Joe Burrow is on the cusp of being the best quarterback in the NFL. But for right now, for my money, I would take Josh Allen. If you just said, take one quarterback, you got to go win a game this week, I'm going to take Josh Allen.
Burrow special for sure. So now another toughie. Out of all the quarterbacks playing this weekend, which quarterback do you trust the least?
You know who it is? It's got to be Matthew Stafford, who I know played very well. And I
should have said with the exception of Matthew Stafford. Because I agree with you.
But like Matthew Stafford, there's some legitimate questions to him. And now if he can remain patient, you know, it's kind of off-putting to think of him in the same setting of like Jimmy Garoppolo, of like, don't go out there and blow this for us. But it almost is. When Kyler Murray threw that interception against the Rams, my first thought was like, that's a very Matthew Stafford like interception. And to the point of like, if you would have asked me before the game, like, hey, one of these quarterbacks is going to throw a ridiculous pick six that should have never happened, which quarterback do you think it is? I would have gone with Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
I honestly believe though, but I mean, like, he's there. Jimmy Garoppolo is also in that category too. And so, he's got to be very guarded. Like, he could have easily cost the 49ers in a game that they dominated.
Yeah.
They were crushing that game. Shouldn't have been close.
No.
So Garoppolo's in that category too. I will say this. I also want to shout out, because I think he's a good quarterback, but I look at Ryan Tannehill, and we talked, like, when we're talking about the superstars in the AFC of Mahomes, Allen, Joe Burrow, and then like, here's Ryan Tannehill, the fourth guy in the match where you're like, oh yeah, like this is going to be the guy who gets pinned or the first one eliminated or something like that. But you know what? I have so much faith in Ryan Tannehill. I'm not even sweating him. I'm not saying that he's on the level of those other three guys in the AFC, but I know going into this game, he is not going to kill the Titans. As a matter of fact,
he won't lose you a football game. Absolutely. He might not win it, but he won't be the reason why you lost it.
He's a little bit better than that, but I absolutely agree. Like, he's not going to lose it.
So this for you in 20 seconds, Mr. Number 1 NFL fantasy football expert in the world. Give me the 4 winners on the weekend.
I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to come back around. I'm going to take the Buccaneers. This is the toughest one for me because they got a lot of pressure on Kyler Murray, and they can make Tom Brady seem average with a lot of pressure, but I think that they will win the Bucs will in a low-scoring game. And of course, I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills. I'm keeping the train rolling with the 49ers Bills pick. I'm going to need to tweet that out when they reach the Super Bowl. I'm going to take victory laps using that clip from last week.
Enjoy the football this weekend, my man.
Enjoy the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank as we talk all things Chicago. By the way, this week we're going to have Eric Lambert of the Sports Mockery. So if you're and we're also going to have cash. We're using cash too. Sorry about that, Tony. We borrow.
Well, you can use them as long as he makes us cash. I'm okay with it. He did give us the 49ers last week. And you know what? If you want a football jersey, all these great quarterbacks, we talked about all these great teams, sportbuffshop.com for all of your officially licensed sports apparel and our Sick merchandise. Use code SICK15 for 15% off on all of their items. See you, Adam.
We'll see you later, Tony.
Now time for Ian.
Word on the street with Rap Sheet.
Rappaport, the number 1 NFL insider in the world, my favorite. How you doing, bud?
What's going on? How are you?
I'm doing good. I haven't stopped laughing since that game with the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers last week. I mean, I thought it was funny. I thought it was sad. I cried. I laughed. And I have no emotional attachment to this team whatsoever. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but what a crazy game. What do you make of the play calling down the stretch?
Yeah, I am probably the wrong person to ask because I don't see too much wrong with it. I mean, it didn't work. They lost, right? But you look at the time, you have 14 seconds left. You have no timeouts. You're at the 40, I believe. And so whatever you do is going to be low percentage, right? It has to be perfect, whatever you do. So they called a play, which I think is pretty clever. You know, you're guaranteed to get 15 yards. So you're guaranteed basically to get to the 25-yard line and have a chance to run, 5 verticals and throw in the end zone. That's what you get. You just have to do everything perfect. So you have to slide early. You have to give the ball to the center. The center has to give it to the ref. The ref has to spot it. You have to snap it, and you have to go. That's all the things that need to happen. And it wasn't perfect because the ref was too far away, and he kind of tripped a little bit. Then he spotted the ball all over the place, and it didn't work out. I didn't hate the idea because anything you do there is going to be kind of low percentage. So they took a shot. It was pretty clever. They practiced it. It just did not work out. And I think that's okay.
Listen, hindsight's 20/20, but I would have gone in the end zone and maybe you get picked off. Maybe you don't. Maybe you get the touchdown. Maybe you don't. You still have another play after that. I think you could have gone to the end zone twice. But let me ask you this, though, okay? So, I mean, the call, he tried it. It didn't work out. It could have worked out. All right, let's talk about this. The Dallas Cowboys had more penalties than any other team in the National Football League during the season.
Yep.
The Dallas Cowboys tied a playoff record for the most amount of penalties in a playoff game.
Yep.
During the season, the teams that they beat weren't too many powerhouses there. And I can go on and on and on. Does Mike McCarthy pay the price?
He's not going to pay the price this year. I don't believe. I think he is. I think he's fine. I think he's going to coach next year. I think we'll have some different coordinators. Probably Dan Quinn gets a head coaching job, and then, we'll see what they do on defense. Should they bring Mike Zimmer in? Would be certainly an interesting thought there. How do they adjust? But I don't think McCarthy pays the price. And it's an interesting dynamic, and I've been trying to figure this out the last couple of days. Dan Quinn is a very hot coordinator. Had several job interviews. I would say easily one of the more coveted of the assistants. Kellen Moore, very coveted as well, has several job interviews. Everyone knows they are great, and everyone knows they do a lot. I mean, Quinn basically runs the defense. Kellen Moore runs the offense. Bones Foster runs the special team, and then Mike McCarthy does whatever else is left. But then when they screw it up at the end, everyone decides it's McCarthy's fault, which I'm not saying he's perfect at all. I'm just saying, it must be somewhere in the middle, because to fire him for that last play when, it probably involved very much at least one of the coordinators that you'd replace him with. I have some questions about kind of where the anger kind of is coming from there, and why everyone in the world decided to lash out at Mike McCarthy after spending the whole season saying he doesn't do very much.
Yeah, and the offensive coordinator put there by Jerry Jones as well, right? It's
yeah, and has done a great job. I mean, Kellen Moore has done a great job. It just, when they needed to have it at that moment, just everybody screwed it up. It just didn't work out.
So you just talked a couple of coaching candidates. Who's the hottest commodity right now? Of all the coaching candidates out there, every team would say, you know what, he's going to be the next great coach.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Dan Quinn is probably the hottest. There's a couple others, but he's hot. Matt Eberflus has 2 second interviews. Now, he's helped by his team not being in the playoffs. It's not great, but that's just what it is. And he's allowed to do second interviews. He's currently on a second interview with the Jacksonville Jaguars right now. But Dan Quinn is so hot that even a team that doesn't have a GM that's going to wait for a GM before they hire also requests him. That would be the Giants. So, we'll see if Dan Quinn ends up getting one. I believe he will. There's a lot to like with the Denver Broncos. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
We'll see where he ends up going.
Good season for the Raiders, right? Despite everything that happened this year, it was a roller coaster for them. Leads me to believe that their coach will be back.
I do not believe that. No. I mean, it hasn't been ruled out, but I'd be surprised. He interviewed yesterday with Mark Davis in person. They have an interview tomorrow with Patriots de facto general manager Dave Ziegler. That is in person. He is in Vegas. They have a couple other candidates as well, but he's certainly one to watch. And if they hire him, it's going to be interesting, because does he bring in some people with Patriots ties? And he has plenty of people with Patriots ties, from Brian Flores to Josh McDaniels to Gerard Mayo. I mean, there's a lot of ties that he has. Does that make sure that Bisaccia doesn't get it? I think is probably a question. And, I'd be surprised if he does. I don't think that's going to happen, but I've been surprised before, so we'll be watching it.
I can't wait to watch all these games, but I have to tell you, I have a preference, and that is the Bills and the Chiefs. I can't wait for it. Yeah.
I think it's gonna be great, and we're all going to talk about the high scoring, and it's going to be thrown up in our field, and everything's going to be great. To me, this is all defense. This is, can the Chiefs stop Josh Allen from running, and can the Bills keep Patrick Mahomes in the pocket? And it's also interesting because these were 2 media darlings at the beginning of the year. They both kind of fell off, both kind of went through their tough patch. Everyone jumped off the bandwagon, and now here they are again. This has the possibility to be a very, very explosive game. Lots of big plays, lots of running all over. I think it's gonna be awesome. I would say for me, for this weekend, this is the one that I'm probably looking most forward to.
Before I get to your picks, any significant injuries this weekend going into these divisional matchups?
Yes, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, does Leonard Fournette come back is obviously a question. He missed last week. I think they thought he'd be back. Then he wasn't. Tristan Wirfs and Ryan Jensen on the offensive line for the Bucs are both banged up. I think both of them play, but both pretty banged up. Otherwise, Packers are getting healthier. Derrick Henry's getting back, which is massive, massive, massive. One of the best running backs in the NFL, just jumping on board in the postseason bandwagon. So I think injury-wise, we're in a good spot. I don't see any team being, I would say, too debilitated by what's going on off the field.
What's Bosa's status?
He practiced yesterday. So Nick Bosa practiced yesterday. Yesterday was Wednesday. The game is on Saturday. So it's not like he has a lot of time, but the fact that he was able to get out of practice yesterday on a limited basis at least means he has a shot and he can be cleared game day.
Yeah.
So it's not like he needs to be cleared tomorrow. He can be cleared game day.
All right. So it's time. Titans, Bengals.
I'll probably pick the Bengals. I love the Titans. I think they've done a great job. Derrick Henry comes back. But to me, Joe Burrow is becoming one of those QBs you don't want to bet against.
It's amazing.
I know he's so great. He seems like a great guy. So I'll pick the Bengals in this one.
Bills, Chiefs.
I think it's going to be high scoring and really close. I think probably the Bills, they seem to be cresting at the right time. What they did the Patriots was just not very nice at all. Just scored every possession. That was, a masterclass in offense and defense. They were awesome. And I think they win again.
Bucks, Rams.
I think the Rams take this one. I know on the road, but, they invested so much in the offseason. Last week was fine. It was kind of disjointed, but fine. To me, the Bucks are kind of beaten down a little bit. The Rams are, full strength and good. I think the Rams.
Packers, 49ers.
I think the Packers. Rodgers is healthy, which is amazing. As healthy as he's been, thank God for him. Plus, they get Bakhtiari back. They get Jair Alexander back. They get Za'Darius Smith back. They get Whitney Merciless back. Absolutely incredible. I mean, just fully incredible. So yeah, I think the Packers win.
I agree with you on that one. We'll talk to you again next week. Enjoy your football this weekend, man.
All right, you too, man. Look forward to it. Take care.
All right, now it's Cash is going to try and make us some money. Let's see here. Here he is. His handle is I Run My Bets. My buddy Cash sporting his San Francisco 49ers cap because he told everyone last week the 49ers are going into Dallas and they are going to eliminate the Cowboys, my man. You were right.
Indeed, I was. And I'm going back to the well again with San Francisco, guys. It seems like I'm on them every week, and I have.
You're going to choose them to win the Super Bowl. I know you've been on the bandwagon for about a good 2 months now.
I love this team, and I love this matchup even more against the Packers, guys. Here's the truth. Right now, at this moment in time, I'm locked in on one game only. I'm only locked in on the San Francisco 49ers. I got them at +6. The other 3 games are really tough. I'm waiting for some more line movement. I'm not sure yet, but my one pick, 5 units, maybe the biggest pick I've given out on the show. I'm going to San Francisco, 5 units, +6 points. I think it's 3 points too many. Guys, number one, the score looked close. It was a little bit of a fiasco against Dallas at the end, but here's the thing. They kicked way too many field goals against Dallas. You turn 2 of those field goals into touchdowns, and that's a 3-score game, and Dallas is down 20-plus points. That game doesn't even come close at the end. Here's another thing, guys. That stat right there is going to regress back to the norm. San Francisco is the number 1 red zone offense in the NFL. When they get in the red zone, they score touchdowns. Here's the thing, guys. In Green Bay, I'm seeing a 50% chance of snow on Saturday. I'm seeing really cold temperatures, and all I hear about is everybody saying Jimmy G's injured, his shoulder, his thumb, all this stuff. Guys, when they beat the Packers in the NFC Championship 2 years ago, he threw 8 times. 8 times he threw, and he was perfectly healthy. They're not going to win this game with Jimmy G throwing the ball. They're going to run this ball into the dirt. They're going to destroy the Packers with the run game. The Packers are going to anticipate it. I don't think it matters, guys. They have the best tackle in the whole league in Trent Williams. They're going to shove this ball down their throat. I can see an upset. I see them winning. Nick Bosa is a massive. He's massive. He might be. Guys, he might be the best player on their team. I'm not even kidding when I say that. This guy, if he's going to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers, it's going to be a different game. It's cold. I expect some pressure. I expect some sacks. I see the running game getting going. Low scoring. This is San Francisco's type of game. I think they're going to win. I really, really like the +6. I like a sprinkle on the money line as well. Look, next week, they're going to have a tough matchup if it's the Bucks that get through. But this week, I really, really like them against the Packers. Give me the San Francisco 49ers +6.
Watch it and enjoy it, my man. And you and I will have something to talk about next week. Cheers, buddy.
Sounds good.
All right, there you have it. It's the Sick Podcast. You can follow us on our Facebook page, the Sick Podcast, on our Instagram at the Sick Podcast, on our Twitter at the Sick Podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's absolutely for free, the Sick Podcast. Marinero, tell your friends that this podcast and this host is sick.